Hey guys, HuShang here. Welcome to another StarCraft 2 lesson. We're playing here against Spaghetti. And Spaghetti is a High Masters Protoss. I'm picking this game because I actually think he played pretty well. And we're going to be going over kind of standard PvP, how it works, why it works the way it does. And I think Spaghetti does a pretty good job of kind of testing the standard PvP. So I'm opening up here with 2 gates. You'll notice that my probe is already across the map. So I've adjusted. I used to do a gate scout, or actually I used to do like a second gate scout really late. But these days what I do is go for a pylon scout. And the reason for this is honestly the cannon rush is just too good. So pylon scout, you get there at the same time as the cannon rusher. And then as your probe comes up the ramp, you can see if they've got a forge or not, and then you can react appropriately. So obviously if they don't have a forge, then you don't need to do anything. Whereas if they do have a forge, you can start pulling your probes. Quite a lot, in fact. You could pull like, I don't know, 10 probes, almost your whole mineral line, and just shut that down, get a quick zealot, and then you're very safe. Okay, so both of us opening 2 gates. Oh, another perk, by the way, of the early scout is you can actually just block their expansion, right? So I see a lot of people, especially at the my students at the lower levels, are playing a lot against like 1 gate expanse. And what you can do is just place your probe over their expansion, and then if they really insist on trying to take it, you can temporarily place a pylon here, and just don't let them actually get it. And then you're in a good position. Okay, so both of us opened 2 gate though. I'm going to be going for some fast stalkers. Although I think I changed my mind and go for a sentry, if I'm not mistaken. And the reason I did this was because this particular map is a little bit too defensive to poke. And the reason for that is just because of the ramp. So if you're playing on these ramp maps, I feel like it's a little stronger to just, play defensive, get a few sentries, get a couple stalker, but not too many, and then transition. And what combos really well with this is a pylon block at the natural. In fact, I would recommend that if you are trying to get to masters, you always pylon block their natural and go for sentries, because what it does is it shows you exactly what they're doing. And even more important than, in this game seeing the stalker sentry is that if they go at depths, they can't really kill this. I mean, they can, but it'll be, like chopping down a tree with some scissors or something. It's going to take years. So it ends up delaying their natural an insane amount. And so you get a pretty good position, you know exactly what they're doing, and then you can expand faster. Okay, so some interesting stuff going on is he's going for a really quick Twilight Council. I actually have another game I might show tomorrow against Chance, where I think it's Chance, where I do something like this. The only thing I don't like is he went for a sentry when he did this. So it kind of slows down what he's doing a little bit. But the basic idea is you get a really fast blink, and then you can go for some really early pressure before your opponent has the upgrade as well. But obviously the downside is he's going to be way down in probes and his nexus. So definitely some big disadvantages, but it does give you some pretty nice aggressive potential. Okay, now I'm about to blow your guys' mind because I'm going to actually just grab my third here. You don't need to grab it quite this fast, but this is fairly safe to grab your third quickly PvP. You can continuously warp in units off your 2 gates. But yeah, it's very safe to take your third off of just 2 gateways. You don't need to go up to like 4 or 6. You don't need to make some immortals. You can really just take your third this quickly, as long as you know your opponent expanded, and as long as you're paying attention to their buildings with your Phoenix Scout and seeing that they're not going for mini gateways. And then if they are going for any all-ins, you can kind of tone it back, stop your probes, and mass a lot of units. Okay, so as you can see, the opponent's getting quite aggressive here. You'll also notice he has no forge, so he's committing pretty heavily to this. And if he doesn't get a lot of damage, he's going to be behind in the +1 upgrade, which in mirror matchups is actually really significant. So Yeah, so he's poking in here. He's got 3 stalkers. I only have 1. But he's got to be really careful here because I have sentries and his blink is not done. So that's kind of one of the main reasons you can take this quickly is the opponent has a really hard time actually, engaging you before the blink's done. And when the blink does finish, you've already got your shield battery in progress. So it's really, really hard to actually break you. You'll see him try here. And he doesn't hit at the perfect time when his blink is complete, but you can see that because his blink is not complete, he's kind of struggling actually. And our sentries really help us buy some time, pick off a few units. And all of a sudden he's like out of HP and he's got to leave already. And yeah, so now his blink is basically useless, right? So now we just have a net advantage. He's trying to poke again a little bit here, but yeah, now we have more even stalker counts and he's got to go home. So now we have a net lead here, but the game's definitely not over. It's only a +1 lead. There's lots of things that can happen, and I think he plays the rest of the game out really well. So from this position here, if we go to my vision, you'll see that I know about his third base. Of course, he pressured me, so he knows about mine. And this is the point in the game where you want to transition. So you don't want to make stalkers forever, but you also want to be really careful that you don't stop making stalkers too early. So make sure that they've expanded to their third, and then you can do your transition. All right, so we've kind of deviated as well in the mid game too. He's playing really, really aggressive here. He's going for charge, and on top of that, he's not taking the gases at his 4th. So the way you can think about your gases in every matchup is the less gas you take, the more aggressive you want to be. So you can see here he's going for only 2 gases, tons of gates really quickly, faster than mine. But on the downside, he doesn't have a lot of gas, so he's going to have a very basic composition in exchange. He's going to have like Stalker, Zealot maybe. Whereas on my side, I'm going for, continuous upgrades. I'm getting a Dark Shrine, and I'm on 4 gases. So not an insane amount of gas. I think 6 is probably too much in PvP. Unless you want to play like a really defensive style with disruptors or something. But in general, I think it's better to just take your 4th really quickly. Because if you wait too long, you run out of money in your main. And that becomes a really big drawback. Probably too much to even overcome with, whatever attack you're going for, whether it's DT or Disruptor. So we're staying on 4 gas. We're kind of expanding at similar tempos here. But you're going to see why you probably don't want to play 2 gas like this unless you're going to go for an all-in. I think if he didn't take the 4th, maybe went up to 12 gates and just went for like a really big charge of timing, that could have been quite strong against what I'm doing. I mean, we could hold for sure, but it would have been, we would have had to play quite well and be in good positions. Okay, so he's coming for a push here, and I think this could have went really bad for me if we look at the current setup here. If I pause for a sec, he's got like 6 zealots on the top side here, and he's got a pretty scary army on the left. And luckily I saw both, because if I only saw these stalkers, I think these zealots could have caught me off guard and really done a lot of damage. But luckily I saw them both, and so we're going to split up our army here. I've also got the DTs warping in, and it's more detailed than this because my Phoenix is scouting for the cannons, and I actually saw that he has no cannons. So if he had built the cannons, I might have not warped these in, or maybe waited for the blink upgrade. But I actually know that he has no cannons, so I'm positive that these are going to work. So I'm sending those across. And right here, I think this is a moment where people often get crushed because you kind of need to deal with both of these things. And it's so fast paced that it's really easy to mess up. So what you want to do in these positions is reallocate your hotkeys so that you have 2 armies. And if you don't know how to do that, it's super easy. All you do is you select the units that you don't want to be on your main control group. Actually, wait, let me go back a sec. All of these units should be on your main control group. So you should have one control group that has everything. Okay, so that's your starting point. If you don't do that, then you're not going to be able to do this at all because the all army hotkey doesn't allow this. It's going to mess stuff up. So prerequisite, have everything on one hotkey. And then what you want to do is grab these whatever units you want to defend with, and then go alt number. So you'll see me do that in a sec. Another really nice secret you can use is if some of our units are in range, like in this example here, you can see that these stalkers are all shooting the zealots. Depending on how close they are, if you A move in a different direction, only the units closest will continue fighting. So if you want to split this really easily, what you can do is move your whole army over here in range, and then A move in this direction. And so what that'll do is split up. You can see if I play slowly here, what happens is that these units continue fighting, and these units go over here, and then it's much easier to box the ones you want to put on a separate key. So now we have a nice clean defense. Got a little messy, I suppose, over on this side. So this is the one I'm microing. This is also important, I think. Don't micro the bigger fight. Micro the fight that needs your attention. That doesn't, don't micro the one that can be A moved. So you notice I just let this army do whatever it did, and then I focused all of my attention over here on the small defense. Okay, so now we have a big counterattack coming in. We have cannons at every base, so I'm not too worried. And we know that he doesn't have any static defense, so I'm gonna pick off this base. And we took down so many units that I'm feeling like we can just push him straight up at the front. So I kind of forced this engagement here. And we can even bring in our Dark Templar after we've killed the base. So this fight goes extremely well. This is pretty much game, but there's a cute little move that I do here that I quite like. I morph all of my DTs into Archons because I wanted to get out of this fight. And the problem with escaping with the Archons is that they're going to get picked off by his Blink Stalkers. So I just morphed them all into Archons, recalled, and then the Stalkers, which are much faster, can get away easily here. So pretty cute, but I quite enjoyed that move there. And now, of course, we just have such a big advantage that we can close out this game. But I think being safe in this position is quite a powerful thing to do. So just building up some Archons, you know, getting the +3. And of course, he has to counterattack here. So you should kind of expect this coming in. Because if he doesn't, if he just takes a 4th, he's basically, you know, down a whole base of mining. And so he's going to lose even harder in the long term. So yeah, we just push across here. I mean, this is pretty much game. Lots of things went right in this game, but I liked how he tested us in the early game. It didn't quite work out for him, but it was nice to show you guys, you know, why the 3 base is quite safe. And yeah, I think he played pretty well. He had some nice tactics. They just didn't quite work out. So good game to Spaghetti. Hope you guys enjoyed my analysis. If you want more videos like this, make sure you like the video, and I will see you guys in the next one.